Hello, everyone. My name is Katelyn Terrell, and today I'm going to be talking to you about Rumspringa, and I'm going to be delving into the expectation versus reality. So, to start off, I would just like everyone to take a minute. If you need to pause this video, that is fine, and just think about what you know about Rumspringa as of right now. And if you have no idea what Rumspringa is, maybe think about what you know about Amish culture or the Amish community. This is just a brief overview of what I'm going to be discussing today, and this involves what is entailed in the Amish lifestyle, what is Rumspringa, what is the purpose of Rumspringa, how do we see Rumspringa portrayed in the media, why do you need to know about Rumspringa, and what can you do going forward? What is entailed in the Amish lifestyle? As a preface, before really delving in to what Rumspringa involves, one must first understand what is entailed in the Amish lifestyle day to day. So, for the Amish lifestyle, Christianity is at the core, and the Amish are really cut off from the mainstream American culture. Take a minute to think about how your life would look if you had no electricity, no telephone use, no automobiles, so no cars, motorcycles, no music, no television, no internet, that's a really big one nowadays, and no fashion or trending clothing. People who are Amish tend to wear more old-fashioned clothing, dresses very modest, everything like covering the ankles, high up on the neck. And these rules for the Amish community, they can be adjusted. It depends on the church and if they approve different exceptions. One of these exceptions could be like if someone would need an automobile of some sort for work, or perhaps a family needing a telephone in their house. And as I've read and done my research, there have been families who do have a telephone in their house and are allowed to use a telephone, but the telephone is placed in the middle of the house so that privacy is limited. What is Rumspringa? So now we're really going to start to get into the meat of my presentation, and I'm going to start off by a definition. And according to author Desiker, who spent a week living inside of the Amish community with an Amish family, depending on the sect of the Amish church, a teen may be allowed to experience Rumspringa when he or she turns 16. During this time, he mentions that teens are allowed to experience a modern world of cars, music, electricity, wearing skinny jeans, watching television, participating in competitive sports, and they may also participate in some parties, although this is a bit more drastic version of Rumspringa, and I'll get into that in a minute. Rumspringa is also coined as running around. This is the translation. And this can occur, like he mentioned, 16 years old, but some start Rumspringa around 17, 18, and it usually lasts for 2 years. Teens are able to experience the mainstream, like I mentioned, and I will also show some pictures here in a minute. So what is the purpose of Rumspringa? I feel like this is something that I found incredibly interesting as to why this occurs. According to the Amish studies, a fling with worldliness reminds Amish youth that they have a choice regarding church membership. And the choice is really what is shown through the church. They want them to be able to basically pick a side after having their experience. However, most of the forces of the Amish life funnel them towards the church membership. Knowing they have a choice likely strengthens their willingness to obey the church standards and, in the long run, the authority of the church itself. All right, so how do we see Rumspringa portrayed in the media? And this is one of the bigger sections that I find really interesting because I know personally I have seen shows like Breaking Amish where they really portray those going into Rumspringa as being crazy, participating in sexual endeavors, doing drugs, alcohol, and this is how it's portrayed when this isn't necessarily what is the most popular, it's just what is entertaining per se for television. And according to author Stevick, despite their best endeavors, today almost every aspect of Amish adolescence is scrutinized, analyzed, and exploited by the media or academia. Their friendships, their pastimes, their indiscretions, and their future, either as a committed Amish church member or as casualties along the way. So as you see, they're wearing their traditional dress, but it's a little bit shorter, and they also have alcohol. Rumspringa, this was a documentary completed, although this was also really pushing this group into othering and really just not portraying Rumspringa as it naturally is. This is the more drastic version of Rumspringa. Once again, with that surface level search, this came up. And then I also just wanted to include a quick video that represents Rumspringa in television today, and this is a clip from the Breaking Amish show. So as you saw from that video, the media really takes the drastic version of Rumspringa and portrays that for entertainment purposes and for what is going to, catch the viewer's attention, which really is not the purpose of Rumspringa, and the representations shown through the use of drugs and alcohol and the way that these Amish men and women are acting and speaking is not a good representation of the entire Amish community or of the entire Amish youth as a whole. So, why do you need to know about Rumspringa? Knowing about Rumspringa is going to help dispel stereotypes. So, the Amish community often dislikes when Rumspringa is the constant topic of conversation, and this is because of the stereotypes that the media portrays, just like the photos and videos that I showed. Drinking, smoking, having sex, and going wild, as the television marketers like to say, is what most people view Rumspringa as, and this is not the case most of the time. Dispelling stereotypes involves confronting unfair generalizations made by a dominant group, and this needs to become a more common occurrence in intercultural communication with those who belong in the Amish community. Othering. Othered refers to being treated differently because of race, gender, sexual orientation, physical abilities, or religious identity, and that's according to author Anastasia Curlio. And I feel like this directly correlates to how othering is being used within the Amish community and from outsiders, because we're viewing the Amish community very differently because of their religious identity. And by the different things that they do, it's kind of like outcasting them and putting them in their separate locations, saying, this is them. And they do this, and they're strange because of this, and you're really isolating them into their own group just because of their religious beliefs. By outcasting the Amish community into their own world, like I mentioned, and viewing them as different because of their religious identity and their lifestyle, we're using terms like they and them, which really separates their culture from the rest of the dominant group, and it isn't doing anything to further help out the Amish community. So now what? Going forward, we need to be knowledgeable of the purpose of Rumspringa and how the media only shows the extremes and exploits the Amish community for entertainment. We need to be supportive of this cultural group and use our intercultural communication skills to be respectful. We need to advocate for proper education, kind of like I am now, just educating everyone on the fact that Rumspringa is not necessarily like these extremes that are shown in the media. And we need to work on not othering the Amish community by using proper language. There are my references. And thank you so much for listening.